So the key items that we will cover today include an overview of the artist side, an overview of the administrative side of CaFÉ, and a briefing of the jury process. So first we want to land on our CaFÉ homepage, which is at callforentry.org. One of the initial parts of the artist joining CaFÉ is the artist registration. And we're going to start with the workflow artists can follow to register and start their free account in CaFÉ. Also, this is where the artist can find answers to many frequently answered questions, read helpful and relevant blog articles, as well as contact us. If you're viewing this top menu, you'll see that each of those resources are available to artists as needed. There's the contact page. Here is the blog. There's a really handy how it works section. And then one of the artist's best friends is the help page. And it's especially helpful because it has an upload media section, which will detail the key requirements of uploading images, audio, and video within CaFÉ. So going back to registration, we're going to head back to that homepage. And when the artists want to first sign up, they'll go to that top right corner where it says Artist Sign Up, and this will bring them to the registration page. The artist must agree to the terms and conditions for using CaFÉ. They will need to click on the button that says, Yes, I agree, after they have read through the full terms and conditions presented for the use of the CaFÉ website. If the artists agree and they click on Yes, Agree, they will be moved forward through the registration process. Please note that if an artist selects No, I do not agree, they will not be able to create an account. They are required to adhere to the terms and conditions in order to have an account on CaFÉ. So we'll go ahead and say Yes, I agree. Through this registration, the artist will complete essential information for their account. They are allowed to create their own username and password, and they will also create the details for their contact information, such as first name, last name, including a business or studio name, their address. One quick thing with that password, for security purposes, passwords must be at least 8 characters, and it is best to use an alphanumeric combination, so a series of letters and numbers. Continuing back down through our contact information, the artist is required to complete the address. They also need to include at least one phone number, and that can also be a cell phone. There is option for fax, and they will select their preferred contact out of the phone numbers they have provided. They will be required to include an email address, and it's important to note that the artist not only is required to complete the full name and contact information, those details will be always automatically included in their application. And the benefit of this is that that contact information will not be built in from your side. Rather, the contact information for artists will automatically always be included in any application in CaFÉ. That will save you time and effort and ensure that you always receive those details. In terms of alternative contact information, the artist can add other points of contact if they have any they would prefer to disclose. If not, those fields are optional. There's the ability to indicate that this account is for an individual artist or for a team. If there is a team, they will be able to add team partners one by one and add as many partners as they need for their team. A newer part of the artist registration includes the artistic discipline. The artists are able to denote up to 4 disciplines that help them to indicate the main mediums that they work from. So after the artist has indicated their disciplines, the last area they want to address is the notification settings. These allow them to indicate which opportunities they would like to receive notifications from in regard to all the different things happening in CaFÉ. Once they have saved everything, they will choose to create their profile, and they will then be able to log into their account. When the artist is needing to log into their account, they will always have access to the login part of the menu. They'll simply log in under the username that they had created. Since we had filled out a registration, all of the essential details will be available for revision as needed if the artist is ever want to make revisions to their profile. We're going to hop over to my portfolio as well. And an essential thing to have the artist review before they work in their portfolio is actually the CaFÉ help page. We'll just do a quick skim of the uploading media, which is under the help section. The uploading media page covers the media requirements from CaFÉ. The guides for uploading media are accessible at all times to assist the artist. And this page also covers the file formats and frequently asked questions involved with uploading media in CaFÉ. After a review of the media requirements and creating upload-ready files, the artist is now ready to add the file to their portfolio. We'll just hop back to their portfolio. You can see that they are indeed under the My Portfolio tab, as it is indicated in blue at the top. The artist will be able to use their Upload Media button anytime they'd like to add additional images, audio, or video files to their account. It's important to note that artworks submitted to active applications cannot be removed or modified. This ensures that the artwork media stays with your received entries until you are done with the collected applications and you fully complete the jurying process. To give you a quick overview of the upload media, you click Upload Media. The artists are able to choose the file type that they need. They upload the file, and then they submit the essential required information for each artwork. And then they will add it to their portfolio. After artworks are uploaded, you can click on a thumbnail of the artwork, and that will take you to a page specific to that individual work, where there is an Actions button that will show you the full range of actions available for that specific artwork. You can upload media, return to the portfolio, duplicate, modify, or remove the artwork. Also, anytime in CaFÉ you have a thumbnail of an artwork, you can click on it to open a larger view. Now that we have a sense of where the artwork is uploaded, another essential part of the workflow for the artist is to go to the Apply to Calls page. For our top menu, click on Apply to Calls, and this brings us to the CaFÉ call listings. The artist will use the various search criteria to search for and locate calls that are of interest to them. Before we review an application, we'll just cover the essentials for finding calls. Please note that there is a general search box up towards the top that allows artists to search by call name, organization, or city. That is one of the easiest ways for the artist to find a call. Also, they have a full menu of filters on the left-hand side. These filter options include the ability to search by call type. They also can filter by eligibility, which is international, local, national, regional, or unspecified. They can choose to filter by an entry fee, which would be that there either is or is not an entry fee. And they can also sort by deadline or state. These are the most common filters. A little less common would be to filter by favorites only. That will allow the artist to filter by any calls that they have favorited by clicking on the little heart associated with a call. Were a call to be set to private and requiring an invitational passcode, the artist would use the invitational call filters and add the passcode required to access that private call. Those are all the essential filters for locating a call. Let's see if we can just grab a call for you to see. So when an artist has searched by the call name, it brings up the call when it is live. The essential information of the call is visible here as an overview. The artist can either apply right away, or they can select more information to review the full set of requirements for the call. Once they have reviewed the full terms and conditions of the call, including the legal agreement, they can also click on the Apply Now button, which will bring them to the agreement page. And if they agree to the terms, they can move forward to the application. However, if they decline the terms, they will not be able to apply. So we'll go ahead and agree. When the artist has moved into an application, the essential details remain at the top, and they will always start with the form questions within the application. Some key form questions might include an artist statement, which allows artists to either write a general statement or include statement content based on the instructions you provide. Some folks might require a biography, and on occasion a call might require a resume, which is often set up as a file upload so that the artist can upload a Word document or PDF of their resume. If the artist would like, they could complete the form questions and simply say what they have done. If any information is missing, there's an application error to help them make sense of what content still needs to be completed. The artist can also work from the work samples portion of the application, which allows them to select artworks within the requirements specified of the call. This particular call allows images, and it is not featuring audio or video. Again, as the administrator, you will choose the specific range of images, audio, and video files that you want for your particular call. And that information will always be listed within the application. Artists will click on either the checkbox or on the thumbnail to indicate which artworks they'd like to include. And again, they can save their application. This artist does not have a complete application, so their work is saved, but it doesn't move into the checkout. Were the artist to have a complete application, they could simply move to the checkout page, and they would be able to select the call to check out. So let's do, this is a good item to cover in the workflow. Since we had saved content to the application, we are able to jump over to My CaFÉ Entries, scroll down towards the bottom of the list, and here is our call that we had started. And on the right, we have the ability to either complete or remove the call. Let's go ahead and choose complete. We'll add some content. And then another item that's key to some calls is the categories option. If you engage categories, those are selected by artists prior to the checkout. If you're ready to check out, there's the I'm ready to check out button. Or if you need to go back to the entry, you can, or you may also do a preview. Let's go ahead and check out. Landing on this checkout page, we see the name of our call, and on the left of the entry fee, we click the box to indicate that that's the call we want to check out. We choose our method of payment, and then we proceed to check out. The final part of the checkout process shows artists the grand total of what they are about to pay, lets them finish their payment information, and once they submit payment, that submits the application in full. Another key item to keep in mind for artists is that they should always select all of the media they want to apply with before they submit the application. So that would be before they get to this page. The application essentially looks the same to the artist, whether the call is jury by artist or jury by artwork. The key area the applications differ is when there are those categories, as we had seen prior to our checkout page. If the call is jury by artist, the artist can choose just one category to designate the full application. And if the call is jury by artwork, the artist can assign a category to each individual image, which is what we had done. So we'll just do one other item back on our My CaFÉ entries page. The My CaFÉ entries page is the part of the account that allows the artist to manage any of their applications, whether those are current or past. On this page, on the far right side is the options column, which will include buttons to indicate any action available for each of their entries. And just to the left of the options are the statuses, which let the artist know the status of their entry, whether it's started, and jury, ready for submission. They'll be able to track their progress from that page. Also, if artists have any archived entries from calls that have already completed, they can go to the My Past Entries page to see whatever they've archived. That way, the artists are able to review any entries they've done, current or past, as they should choose. And here you'll see for archived entries, the one option is the review. We'll go ahead and we're going to leave our artist account and we will hop over to an administrative account. So working from the administrative account, a lot of the key work you do happens under the Events tab. And a lot of that initial work that you do with your call happens under the sub-tab of Management. We're going to choose a current event to review. And after we've chosen our event, it shows us the other dashboard items for our event administration page. You'll see that the applications by status grid had populated below. And this applications by status grid allows you to track what status your applications are in, as well as move them between statuses. You're also able to select a status group. The page will repopulate with the entries. You can change statuses on the far left. You can organize by last name and other filters, such as first name and username. Also, your essential applications reports are available on this page just up to the right of the entries, where you can choose Excel reports or PDF reports as you please. You're able to download each of the reports multiple times and also download them for every status group. You also have your essential search fields should you want to search for a particular artist or entry throughout this process. So we're going to next hop into the CaFÉ call editor. and that button will always be just above the Applications by Status grid. Our CaFÉ call editor has 3 key pages. First is Event Information, then there's the Application Editor and the Product Editor. The Event Information page is where you complete the essential details and requirements for your call. This page is not the application form, more so it's just the terms and requirements and essential contact information. You'll see that there's an option to upload a logo, and if you're to have a floor or site plan, you can upload that. After you've uploaded it, there's a link that you can use to view it. Your call listing URL is a direct link to your call, which will populate once your front end status is active. And that link is especially handy if you need to share it with artists or list it on your webpage to direct artists to your specific call. We have some essential contact information up here towards the top, from city name down to contact phone number. Your short description is an overview of your call, essentially the summary of the prospectus, and this content shows on the call listing page and in the biweekly newsletter. I'll do this top box here. The long description is the portion that includes the whole prospectus or proposal detailing the full requirements of your call. The legal agreement is language that is required, and it is the details of the terms and conditions artists must adhere to for your particular call. There's a place for a mailing address, which is used for the receipt of check payments. And the disable only when jury is complete feature is to be left active until your jury process is fully complete. In calls that are sent to jury by artists, the max number of applications allowed feature indicates how many applications each individual artist can submit. The accept applications date should be set for when you want to start receiving applications. The application deadline is limited to no longer than a 12-month ongoing term, and all applications systematically close at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time Zone, and there are no exceptions to that time frame. Let's see, that limit is cited below the deadline date. The confirmation deadline relates to fees that only the invited artist would pay, such as a studio tour fee or a booth rental fee. And the invitational feature should only be active if your call will be private and you're inviting a private list of applicants. Once active, you would create a password and share it with your invitees. The event start can be activated, and if it is, you can include key dates to an event related to your call, such as opening and closing exhibition dates, workshop dates, or residency dates. Your jury type must be confirmed before the call goes live. You may only choose one option, and it cannot be changed after you receive applications. This is one of your most critical features, as it determines how your jury process will function. The option of jury by artwork allows you to jury artists based on the individual works of art. Please note that one entry consisting of one image, audio, and video file will be juried and scored individually. Or if you are to choose jury by artist, that allows you to jury the artist based on their body of work. Please note that one application consists of several images, audio, and video files, and would be scored as a whole. Your jury start and end dates are flexible. You determine those and you can edit them as you need to indicate your general jury timeline. For the preview of this page, you go down to the preview application description, and also at the bottom left corner is the Save button. You'll want to be sure to save your work often. We'll hop over to your next page called the Application Editor. And this page is what lets you customize the application for your call. Please note, your call will automatically collect the following details: artist contact information, artwork titles, medium, dimensions, price, value, or year created. For the artist statement, this feature is optional. You can choose if you would like to have it active or disabled based on the needs of your specific call. The application custom questions can be used to set up the requirements for artists to submit material such as a resume, bio, letter of interest, or ask them specific questions such as, how did you hear about this call? You can also create an informational only section that relays instructions or other key details to the artist. The categories editor is used to establish categories typically related to mediums used by artists, as you see here. And then our last key feature is listed under Allow Range of Images, and this will be your media requirements. Please note that they cannot change once the applications have been submitted by artists. You want to make sure that the range is correct before the call goes live. Establish the quantities and types of media files allowed per application. And you'll also want to note that the system counts multiple image views as multiple entries, not as one work. Also, it's best to ask for one wall photographed overall view of the artwork so that both 2D and 3D artists have a fair advantage in the presentation of their artwork for judging purposes. Also, again, your save and preview buttons are at the bottom, and you want to be sure to save your work often. The last key page of your CaFÉ call editor is the product editor. This page allows you to establish essential fees for your call and manage your coupons. The cost is to be set as the cost to apply when you establish your entry fee. You'll want to note that entry fees on CaFÉ are set for the minimum quantity of images or media allowed and not for a range of images or a range of artwork. For example, if you need to have $35 for up to 3 images, you would need to set the minimum quantity of images at 3. The quantity sold item is default set to $9.99 to allow for a large range of applicants. And the description includes the call name and entry fee so that artists know that is the entry fee for your particular call. If your call is set to jury by artwork, there's also a media fee available, and only one media fee product is permissible within a call. The media fee will charge an additional fee for each subsequent media beyond the minimum media allowed. An administrative fee allows you to enter the cost for optional purchases made at the same time as the entry fee. The other fee is only to be used with the confirmation deadline feature. After you've completed your jury, invited artists can accept and purchase a participation fee from the confirmed date. Payment preferences can be chosen for each fee type under the description, and you can set those preferences for your calls. There's a preview app fees button to allow you to preview your fees. And then once you are all set and your call is ready to go live, that's when you return to your event information page, return to your front end status, set it active, and the call will be ready to go live on the site. Those are the essentials for the event and call editor section. So we're going to hop over and brief you on the jury side of CaFÉ. So you can see from the jury tab, we are still on the same call as we had just been from the call editor. And we're going to go top down through the jury page from step 1 down to step 3. to do an overview of what features are used in the jury process. So step 1 involves the setup of the jury process and managing the scorecard options. Let's go through each of these items one by one. One of your essential features in step 1 is the jury status, which you will choose to move from not yet started to in progress and finally complete once the jury process is over. The most important thing to know about the jury status is that while it is in progress, the jury status is veiled and artists are not able to view statuses of their entries. You can choose your scorecard view, which allows you to choose the particular scorecard you want to use for your call. You choose your scoring type based on the options available. And your jury permissions allows you to hide any information that you want to keep hidden. For example, if you do a blind jury process, you can hide the artist name so that it is not visible to jurors. Also, there's application questions, content available to hide if you wanted to hide any of those custom question items from the jurors as well. As the administrator, you assign the jurors to your call. As you can see here, there are multiple jurors already assigned. And anytime you need to add a new juror, you simply use the Add Juror button to create a new account. After you've added your jurors, you send them their username, their password, and the login page for CaFÉ. They do their scoring, and once all jurors are done scoring, you as the administrator go to step 2, where you can change the status and advance to the next round of scoring. Please note that one of your key responsibilities is to use the Change App Status feature to denote which of the lowest scoring artworks are going to be removed and then placed into the not invited status. Once you have used your Change App Status button, you can then move to the next round of scoring, which will allow allow your jurors to have fresh scorecards and do another round of elimination. Once you are done with all the rounds of scoring that you need, and you're finished making eliminations through the Change App Status under step 2, you'll return to step 3 of the jury process, where you can make your final selection. The final selection button takes you to a page where you can choose which entries are to be invited and move them to the invited status. Throughout your jurying process, you have a grid of the entries available below. You can see the artworks after you click on the thumbnail. You can also manage statuses, review categories, see which average scores have been calculated from jurors who have done their scoring, and also review any scoring comments jurors have left. That way you have a full review of the jurying process in action so you can monitor the work of your jurors. Once you have completed your full jury process, the CaFÉ system also provides the ability to send final notifications to the artist. When you're ready to send out your notifications, you'll click on the Events tab and select the Communications page. The Communication page will allow you to draft your messages and save them. And you'll also send your messages to this particular status group that needs the notification. Ideally, you will have moved all of the entries into the invited and not invited status groups so that you can send out one group email to the invited status and one group email to the not invited status. So we're going to just click on our received group and hit the select button so that we can see the email template. It's a pretty basic email template where you will include the name of yourself or your organization. The reply to emails should be from you or your organization, and it will also let artists know that that message is coming from you. You can copy or blind copy anyone else who needs receipt of this email. You'll fill in your subject, and in the body of the message, you'll send the general notification that's appropriate to go out to that status group. You also have the ability to choose files should you need to make any attachments to this message. Please note that you will draft your own letter to notify the artist. You may send your attachments using this module, and you will want to make sure that you switch your jury status to complete after you have notified your artist. The last thing we wanted to cover real quick was a juror account. You'll notice that the login page for administrators and jurors is the same. And you are able to have both an administrative and juror account should you want to do so. So the juror account will allow the juror to operate from the jury tab. Similar to your account, you can choose a current event to work from. And the events the juror have been assigned to, if they are active, if the jury status is in progress, will allow the juror access to that particular call. Since we've selected our call, the additional jurying features become available below. The juror will choose their review preference from the options provided. For example, we will go with the thumbnail scorecard. And since we want to see the total, we'll go to the bottom of our grid under step 2. We'll go to that lower right corner, click total, and that is what will populate the scorecard. As you can see, there's a place to leave a score, there's an area to leave comments. The save this score is going to be essential for the jurors as it saves their score and comments, and it also is the key button to move them to the next entries. In this particular scorecard, the artist name is hidden, so the artist ID number, which is always available, that artist ID number is the key item to help the juror track which artist is in charge of which work. Also, there's an application ID. Oh, sorry, there is the name showing. My apologies. It's not a blind jury. If you ever want to hide the artist name, it would simply be removed from the scorecard. If there were a statement included, that would be available as well. And the citation view questions and answers link is what would take you to the page where the resume, biography, and custom questions are available. Similar to what we had stated earlier, if you have a thumbnail of an artwork, you can click on it to see a larger view. And for the juror, they can always move to the middle of the image, click on the letter I to see essential information about the artwork. They also have an arrow at the top that will allow them to move through a little slideshow of the other artwork that they had included. You can X out of there, return the scorecard, add your score, save the score, and move onwards from there. As a juror has done their work to score the different entries, they can return to their main jury page, and there will be a chart of the applications that will allow them to see the scores they have given, any comments they have left, and they also have access to a review button to review their work, as well as make any changes to the scorecard they see fit. Those are all the essential features for the juror account. And with the juror account, that includes the full range of CaFÉ user accounts